Cheers! Hello, and I hope that you have a productive week. I didn't, and looking forward to a rather boring weekend. So here we are to give some ideas to entertain yourselves. First of all, of course, get a glass of wine, and of course, it's going to be one of our wines, right? Our Masia Chardonnay. You see it? Yes, there it is. Promise next time it will be much more professional. And Cristina, I wanna cheer with you. Come on. Here's Cristina.
All right. Hello. Cheers. We're having some technical difficulties, but we will make it happen. This is all a learning experience.
5 o'clock, you always need a glass of wine, preferably one of Marimar Estate wines. Anyway, we're gonna get to this. So we have a recipe that's called, here it is, and we're going to send it to you. It's called Salmorejo de Córdoba. That's a thick Gazpacho style soup original to the city of Córdoba. And the city of Córdoba is in Andalusia, in southern Spain. And Gazpacho, I'm sure you've heard about it. Gazpacho is a cold soup that originated in Andalusia because Andalusia in southern Spain can be very hot, and it was traditionally an agricultural area. So the workers who were growing, tomatoes and garlic and onions and peppers and all that were very hot. So what would they have in the middle of the day but a gazpacho soup? And what did we have it with? What did they have it with? With wine, because actually it would be sherry wine, but it was because the water was not healthy in those days. So anyway, wine of course has been drunk in Spain for many centuries, and so we have this recipe that is a style of gazpacho. The problem with gazpacho is that it cannot usually be, never be paired with food, because it always has vinegar and, in most cases, vinegar and garlic. And raw garlic and vinegar, of course, are not very good with wine. However, this recipe has only a little bit of sherry vinegar, and it has some bread, white bread, as you will see, and also as a garnish it has hard-boiled egg and some wonderful Serrano Spanish ham. So we're going to get started. So first of all, I'm going to use the bread, and I'm going to pour about a 3/4 cup of water, maybe a little more. It has to be day-old bread, but to tell you the truth, this was I'm going to put a little more. Bear with me. Because it's actually, I prepared all this morning, and now this bread is a little, okay, we'll let it go for a few minutes. You can definitely prepare that earlier, but I wanted to see, for you to see how I do. And then you have 2 pounds of ripe, wonderful tomatoes, and we're gonna go, everything is gonna go in the food processor. Imagine in the old days when there were no food processors, how really terrible it had to be that you had to pound the gazpacho, or the tomatoes and every ingredient in the gazpacho. But today we have that, right? So okay, so this bread is everywhere. So I'm gonna add the bread now, and I'm gonna get the water out of it. So I'm going to squeeze with my hands, which of course I've washed 33 times today. And I'll squeeze the water out. And that's it, kid. Pretty simple for now, right? So we're going to first make a real good puree. So meanwhile, since you can't hear me, I'm going to drink a glass of water. Then, according to the recipe, we're going to add Oh yeah, the 2 egg yolks that I've separated, right? With the egg yolks, one thing I recommend is that you don't leave them separated for a long time because they get dry very quickly. And then we will have 2 teaspoons, I mean really tiny. Oops, I forgot my measuring spoons. 2 teaspoons. Oh no, I'm sorry. It was measured already. So here's the 2 teaspoons of dry sherry wine vinegar, and which I have a lot here. And then the 3/4 teaspoon salt and 3/4 teaspoon freshly ground white pepper, which is right here.
Okay, hello, I am back.
Have we survived the difficulties?
I think so. I'm very sorry about that.
Well, you deserve a glass of wine.
Cheers to that, and cheers to the weekend. Okay,
Yeah.
have you talked about this wine yet?
No, that's something we can start
So
with.
this is our 2017 La Masia Chardonnay. This is the original Chardonnay that we started producing from the beginning, our first vintage ever, 1989. And this is bears the name of the winery, which is built in a Masia, or Catalan farmhouse. This is a wine that is barrel fermented and spends time in oak. It spends about 9 months in about 40% new oak.
She's learned it, huh? Studied it.
And so, yeah, it has some of that fullness. Still nice fresh fruit, white peach.
Yeah, white peach is
I
right.
sure hope you guys have a glass of wine in front of you too. And certainly helps with the cooking and during these especially challenging times. Okay, so Mom, tell me what you were doing, where you were. You added the vinegar.
No.
No.
Yes, I did. You're right, I did. And I added the salt and pepper, and now I'm about to add the olive oil. You want to do it or shall I? So what I do with the olive oil is that I add it very slowly, because you want for that to blend very slowly with the egg yolks and everything else. And of course, it's like it happens with mayonnaise, right? You put olive oil and egg yolks, and it makes a thicker sauce. Especially at the beginning. Really slow. Okay, the wine is really good. Wine is really good. Okay. And let it run a little more. A little longer. That's it too. How's that for something easy, huh? Okay, we're gonna get my tasting spoon, and then we're gonna get some. Do you wanna get a tasting
This food
spoon?
processor sure does take up a lot of this vertical space.
Okay.
And so, how was it? Let's go back to the beginning. I remember you telling me, oh yeah. Oh, yum, yum, yum. Creamy and yet tart. So let's go back to the beginning.
But it needs something else. I think it needs so important to taste.
I think it's perfect.
Need more salt and pepper? Pepper, no? Okay, maybe later. Okay, we'll taste
So
it later.
back to the beginning, I remember you telling me that Abuelita was always as growing up as a young woman in Spain, that it wasn't suitable for a young woman to spend time in the kitchen, according to Abuelita. So how was it that you got into cooking?
Well, see, I left Spain. I came to live here in 1975, and that was within 20 days of the death of the dictator Francisco Franco, so Spain was a totally different country. And in those days, ladies were supposed, real ladies, which my mother wanted me to be, of course, wanted head cooks. At home we had cooks, and I know it kind of sounds snobbish, but that's the way it was. We had a cook and a maid, and in the summertime we had 2 maids and a cook. And my mother did not like me to be in the kitchen, except for baking. She was a great baker. And
so maybe that's why I love baking so much.
That's right.
I pretty much don't cook except for some baking, which especially during these times is a good stress reliever.
Yeah, we'll give you something to bake, a recipe to bake next time, but those take longer. Anyway, and so where was I? So when I came to live in this country, it was like a revelation because everybody cooked. Well, of course, what happened was I married a food, restaurant, and wine critic. So not only himself, he was a great cook, but all of our friends were great cooks. And I remember I had a neighbor, a man, my closest friend, after my husband died, that he made his own bread. Oh my gosh! And so that's how I realized that I loved it. I always had liked it, but my mother didn't let me in the kitchen, except when my parents left on a trip, and then I would sneak into the kitchen and I would help the cook.
So that they would never find out.
Exactly. So when when I realized it was okay to cook, I launched into it. But really, I had no idea. I remember my husband getting very, very upset with me because I remember I was making a bechamel, right? And I didn't want to put flour here. And I remember that he just gave up on me, and a friend came and said, "Yeah, that's what we're gonna do. That's what we're gonna do."
Well, you can't mess with a bechamel. I don't cook, and I even know that. You have to do the classic French bechamel. Well, shall we plate the salmorejo?
Yes, I think we can do that. Now, normally, let me tell you, if this would be done, I would like it. Yeah, that's what happens. A day before, and let it settle in the fridge, and then probably the seasoning will be just fine. So I think that's what I say here. Chill the soup for at least 4 to 6 hours before serving, and the day before is just fine. And then we will sprinkle this. So let's get the bowls. Meanwhile, I will chop the hardboiled egg. Hopefully, I will do a not so bad job.
These eggs are from our chickens. We have chickens here on the property in the spirit of sustainability, biodiversity. It's really a matter of creating a whole biodiverse ecosystem, and also means that we have wonderful fresh eggs,
which we pick, if we remember, in the mornings.
And the other garnish that will go on the salmorejo is, can you tell us about that?
It's this wonderful Serrano Spanish ham. What's the difference between a Serrano ham and prosciutto?
Well, that's what I was just going to ask you. And how is it that people know more about prosciutto than about jamon serrano?
Because the Italians have always done a much better job at marketing their products. How is it that, that when I came to live in this country, honestly, nobody knew anything about Spanish cuisine. And that's really what got me to write my first book, The Spanish Table. Oh, we had that.
Yes.
And that was because I had lived in America for 9 or 10 years, and it was terrible. People thought that Spanish food from Spain was spicy, hot, and downed with beer. And when I told people about tapas, for instance, they would say, I would talk about our tapas bars in Spain, and they would say, topless bars?
Oh no!
I swear to you, and it was just so frustrating. And they didn't know, of course, about Gazpacho. They didn't know about paella, if you can believe.
Wow.
Yeah, it's true. Wow. And my first book doesn't. The second book has a chapter on paellas, but this one just has a few in the chapter of rices. And this book came out in 1980. 6.
I do see this here. You are sporting some long hair.
That's right. In those days, I had long hair. Long hair, yeah. Not anymore. You know when I cut it?
When?
When you were a baby, and I would get you in my arms, and you would pull it. So now I can wear it half long again. So okay, we're gonna put this away. And we're gonna pour it in our bowls. So I put this away as well. There's the bowls.
I got a question from Kristen Dumbeck, our good friend. What are your recommendations on where to find good jamon serrano in the U.S.?
Okay, so I can tell you of our local shop here in Sebastopol, Fiesta Market, that has a lot of Spanish products. And they have, actually that's where we bought it this morning. It's the Serrano cured ham. Now let me tell you about jamon serrano. And serrano means from the Sierra. And the Sierra is, well, like here, like the Sierra Nevada. It's the mountains. And a good ham is, it's called jamon de bellota. What is bellota in English?
Acorn.
Okay, it's an acorn fed pig, right? And also it's cured, and it's really very expensive.
It's like an appellation. Jamon de bellota and jamon serrano are both like for wines. You have Bordeaux, Burgundy, Chablis, Sonoma County, Russian River Valley, and it's the same for jamon serrano and jamon de bellota. It has to be from a specific region, and the pigs have to be treated in a specific way.
Absolutely, and they have dark or black feet. Do they have feet? Yeah, black feet. In Spain we have a different word for animals' feet than people's feet, and so it's also called jamon de, or cerdos, pigs de pata negra. So black feet pigs. Okay, so now we're gonna sprinkle this egg, okay, hard-boiled egg on the surface.
I also got a question about why do we go get the eggs in the morning? And I think it's just because that's when we're gonna have breakfast, and that's when the eggs are most likely to be a part of the meal. So Mom's sprinkling on some chopped egg and the jamon serrano.
Okay, taste that.
Well, I try to eat mostly plant-based, but when you put some jamon serrano in front of me, I mean, it's hard to say no.
And of course, that's going to make it go very well with wine. And we chose for this 2 white wines, 2 Chardonnays that we make. Okay, so we'll go for 2.
Right, so our second Chardonnay is the Bonita's Hill 2015. This is a wine. Oh, we've got the puppies.
Okay, now no dogs in the kitchen, okay? But since this is a home kitchen, we can have Bonita, who's looking like, why did you say my name? So yeah, I have our icon wine is named after my daughter, Cristina Pinot Noir. But I only have 1 daughter, so I decided that for our reserve Chardonnay here, we would give it my dog's name, Bonita's Hill. And for the Sonoma Coast Pinot Noir Reserve, we gave it Chico's name. And of course that's because that's the hill, the grapes come from the hill where the dog likes to run. And the Chardonnay comes from the slope where Bonita, I said it the other way. Well, you know what, if you buy this, I'll sell you the content. Anyway.
The Bonita's Hill, well, it's from a specific vineyard block that is planted to the C clone of Chardonnay. And it is a block that Bonnie loves to run on. And it is a few barrels, it's just 270 cases. And this is a wine that sees a bit more time in oak and a bit more new oak. So we're talking about 11 months in oak, 55% new oak, and it is also unfiltered, bottled unfiltered, which means that we're really focusing on retaining all of those additional textural components. But that also means leaving behind more wine with the lees. And so this is, well, let's see, what do you think? This is a wine that has more fullness, more body, more of a silky, smooth texture. But still with that fresh fruit, some of that papaya, more ripe fruit, and is really a wine that that should pair beautifully with the Salmorejo. I will say this wine is a wine club exclusive wine. So this is especially for our loyal Club Marimar members who receive wine 2 times a year and have all sorts of fun benefits. Are My Mom's events, which are phenomenal, and oh my goodness, we just can't wait until we can start having those again.
We hit our next paella next Saturday. Guess what?
I have to cancel it, of course.
So sad. So I say that this, although this Chardonnay has more oak, it doesn't have too much. I do not like over oaky Chardonnays. I think of oak in a wine like the frame of a beautiful painting. So if you see a beautiful painting and it has a gorgeous frame, it kind of enhances the painting, right? It makes it look better. So that's what the oak should be, not being part of the wine, but enhancing the fruit. Okay. Well, that was
very well said. Very well said. I have to admit, I do share that one when I am out and about, and I do give you the credit for that because that is a very good metaphor. Indeed.
Okay, let's see which one we like better with the soup.
Let's see.
Please don't get jealous. You can make it too.
I mean, food and wine pairing, there's so many different ways to approach it, and no right or wrong answer. I mean, these both pair beautifully. What do you think?
I like better the Bonita's Hill because it really pairs with the ham. What about you?
I think I would take one of each. I would absolutely. I think it brings out different components of the dish. And you can get all of our wines, our Chardonnay, Albarino, Pinot Noir online, of course, on our website. Yes, MARIMAR'Estate.com, of course. And also, before we go, I want to be sure to say, as my mom said, we will post the recipe and we will post this video, and next time will be totally seamless. We will be doing this every week, and actually we're debating whether to do this on Thursdays or Fridays. So if you have an opinion, please do vote for Thursday or Friday. We're thinking still 5 p.m. Pacific time. And any parting thoughts?
I was thinking that now I've tasted a bit with less ham, and then I like it better with the La Masia Chardonnay. So it depends. You can have a glass of each. Absolutely. Yeah. And I don't think I will have a Pinot. But the truth is, I haven't had the Bonita's Hill I've had, but not the La Masia Chardonnay before with this. And I think it goes very well, but I've never had it with a Pinot Noir. I think it goes better with a white. Yeah, probably the Albarino in the Acero as well.
Yep.
Okay.
Well, we were saving the Albarino and Acero for our very good friend Michael Volpat from Big Bottom Market, who will be doing a couple recipes and pairing with our wines next week. So we will share that information and look forward to having you join us again next week.
And before you see us again, you can see my very gorgeous face in the Press Democrat on Wednesday, because one of our Pinot Noirs, our Sonoma Coast Pinot Noir, will be the wine of the week in the Press Democrat. So I'll drink to that. I'm very